I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. How is it going? We are back.
How's it going?
Oh, yeah. Forget about what I said last week. We're still going strong, right? We have 2 more episodes, right?
Yes.
I'm not always saying the truth, people, right? That's me.
Well, that was my bad.
Oh,
yes,
come on.
that was my bad.
No
We
worry.
have 2 more episodes to do. This episode was awesome. So
That was unexpectedly awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect it to be that great talking about pools, but I really liked it. I think that was one of the strongest episodes, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm alone for that?
Well, it was unexpected. Like
Right.
you said, I didn't expect to, learn so much about pools
Yeah.
and the history of it. I'm
Oh
just
my
like,
God.
there's a
Crazy.
thing, like a little pool or body
Right.
of water.
Right.
It's not that special.
I know,
but Jeff proved us wrong.
He did. I mean, guys, if you haven't watched this episode, right, we're going to talk about water parks. You have like 1,300 alone in the U.S. We're also going to see Jeff at the NASA. Or NASA, I think you can say NASA.
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 God, don't be German anymore. Okay, NASA, talking about that, the biggest pool I've ever seen in my life, right? And we're also going to see that Jeff is becoming an Aquadude. Oh, yeah. He's going to do some dance or swimming dance, swimming kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, we're also going to have this special segment. I'm really excited about that. I'm always the best in that category, as we know. No, I'm not. And we're also going to talk about some exciting news that I just found out. I didn't know about it. I don't want to spoil it for you guys. You probably heard about that. I'm always the last one anyway, right? But anyway, yeah. And Maddie Pocks, right? She's our special segment girl.
Yeah,
right?
I'm Maddie Pocks. I can't wait to do this special segment. I'm going to do it short and sweet this time because it's a different category almost. Not
Surprise.
TV, not movies, but other things. So we'll get to that.
I love that. And we also have our news anchor who's still working on our bicycle community. Kay Montgomery's in the house.
That's right. I got some good news this week, especially if you love this show and you love Jeff. You're
Right.
going to love the news this week.
Oh, wow. Okay. And you have me. Yeah.
And there's- yeah.
I'm Benjamin Schnau, right? From Germany originally, actor, host, and living the dream in LA, as we all do, right?
right,
That's what we do. And yeah, diving right into it. Diving, pools, you got this? Oh my God, that was a crazy
Oh,
job.
wow.
Anyway, so talking about water parks, and he's going to the Raging Waters. I've never heard about that before.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Oh, you
Raging
did?
Waters here. Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah. I haven't been there, but I've heard of it before. I was thinking about going last summer, taking my kids last summer. So I
Right.
was really excited to see it. I didn't realize it was so huge. It's huge.
massive.
Huge.
It's massive.
Huge.
I mean, honestly, guys, maybe I'm a little old school like Jeff, but I haven't been to these kind of parks in decades. Seriously, maybe I'm 32 now, maybe 20 years. I haven't been there in 20 years.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay, well,
I
we're
know,
going to
but
have to take you.
I know. Oh, really? No, but how about you guys? When was the last time you've been to these parks, and how did you feel about that? What was the last experience?
Actually, the last time I went to a water park was in Germany.
Oh, please.
I'm serious. It was outside of Kaiserslautern in Germany.
Let's talk about
outside of K-Town. It was really cool. It had like
Wow.
the surf simulator,
Oh,
and it
that's
had
right.
the tunnel, but it had lights in it.
Right.
Yeah. We went with all of my nieces and nephews, and
Do
yeah,
you
it was
remember
a lot
the
of fun.
name?
If I heard it, I would know it.
Okay. Anyway, Kaiserslautern, right?
Right outside of Kaiserslautern,
guys,
maybe
if
like
you are-
20 minutes or something from
20
Kaiserslautern. I
minutes?
remember my
Right.
sister lived there, and then we drove to the water park. But that was the last water park I think that I've been to. Yeah,
But exciting, right? Even if you're an adult.
it was so much fun.
I think a lot of people always think it's just
Yeah.
for kids, but it's a lot of like adults go there, right?
Yeah, and it was indoor, so it was warm, which is like my number one
Right.
requirement. It
Right.
wasn't like cold.
I've never been to an indoor one.
Yeah, it was
I've
cool.
only been to the Canada's Wonderland one. Like back in Canada, and
Right.
it's like all outdoor, but they always have to shut it down. Nothing against Canada's Wonderland, obviously, but they always have to shut it down because it gets really dirty. So then I stopped going.
Dirty in terms of
They
what?
shut it
I mean,
down because it gets
kids,
too dirty.
Well, kids poo and pee in the pool and stuff like like gross stuff like that. And
I've never done that in my life.
I know. I'm just saying. I don't know why, and it's always like every time I try and go, it's like a little bit dirty, and they're like, "We gotta clean it." And
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of cleaner ones that
Yeah,
I've been to.
that's
But
right.
the last one I went to was, in Canada.
Right.
And it was
It's a funny-
not a pretty sight. But
I know. But I don't want to talk about pooing and peeing and all that kind of stuff, but there's like a lot of stuff that I observe at the ocean when people staying at some spot too long. You know what they did.
Yeah.
Well, that's the great thing about the pool, though, right? They were talking about it before, asking people
Right.
at the water park what's the great thing about a pool.
Yeah.
And, it's that it is disinfected. It's not like the ocean.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
clean.
a very
It
good
should
point.
be,
A
and-
very, very
Yeah.
good point. A very
usually
good
in
point.
normal places
Pretty
it
clean.
is.
And by the way, we meet Marcus Dorsy. Marcus Dorsy,
Yeah,
very
guy.
interesting guy. He basically checked almost like all the parks in the U.S. So
Yeah.
he has very good knowledge, and he talked about these 4 characteristics, these 4 characters, right? And the first one is
Yeah.
the adventure guy.
Yeah, and then the dreamer, the challenger, and the socializer.
Exactly. So I've never heard about that before. I'm just
neither.
thinking he maybe made that up. Or he came up with that idea.
Yeah,
or,
I think he came up with it.
yeah.
But, he's done extensive research. I trust him.
I do too. So
What would you guys say out of those 4 that you are?
yeah, good question. I think I'm more the socializer. I like
Yeah.
talking. I just approach people in the pool, say, hey. That's what I would do. I mean, what about you guys? Because I have to be honest with you guys. I have problems with heights. Right? I can be I'm open about that.
Yeah.
So if you get me on one of those things, like where I have to jump down, oh man, I can't do that.
Yeah, I
Even
don't-
as a kid, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I'm not big on heights. But heights are different for me if I'm on a ride. Is that strange?
yeah, no, I feel the same way.
If I'm on a ride, it's different.
That's true.
And I don't mind as much. I would say I'm probably more of an adventurer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's interesting. So
Yeah.
you could, even if you have one of those things that goes like that into a pool, like that, you would do
Yeah,
that.
I probably would do it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
As long as there was a protection. You know what I mean? I felt like
Yeah.
the
Right.
tube went around a little more. I would go for it.
That's very interesting
That's-
because
I wouldn't do that.
I
I'd be
realized, and
scared.
that's the beauty about being a kid, and you also see that on the show. Kids don't really think about it that much. They just
Yeah.
do stuff, right? I think seriously, right? The more you
Facts.
become older, you
I
just
know.
you
When
think
did
too
we
much about
lose
stuff.
that adventurous
I know.
side
So
to us?
what about you? What would you say? What are you?
I would say dreamer.
Okay.
So I want a little bit of excitement.
Right.
But I don't know if I could sit in a lazy river and be the socializer all day. I
Right.
need some kind of thrill, but I'm afraid
Yeah.
of heights.
Right.
So I wouldn't be jumping off a huge diving board
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But I just want a tiny bit
Yeah.
of something to excite me.
That's right. I think I'm very conservative. I just realized that. Seriously. Yeah, seriously. I mean, I don't really do that much. I'm very boring. I just realized, damn it, I have to change that. But anyway, so we talk about that, and Jeff is trying out a little bit of all that stuff, right? So he does a lot of it, and he's also talking to those people, and they say at the very beginning of the episode, yeah, it's kind of it is socializing in a way, right? We can take our families, and it's relaxing, and it's also like almost we're flying. Which
Yeah, I
for
noted
me
that
was
too.
very interesting to me
Yeah.
because that's how I also feel when I go swimming. You just like there's no any weight you have on your shoulders or whatever. You can just be free, and it feels like you're flying almost. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I wrote the same thing down. I thought that was a really good
Really?
observation. Yeah, when she said that, because I was thinking the same thing. I was like,
Right.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
that's my favorite thing about swimming.
For sure.
Is it's just so freeing and you're flowing. This is an aside, but let's get into Jeff's outfit. I just want to say right now, I was here for his 2-piece swim outfit.
Oh,
I loved
yeah.
it.
I was like, why don't you show nipples, Jeff? That's what I thought at the very beginning.
That's why I'm not a socializer at the park, because that makes me uncomfortable looking at people's nipples.
You see,
Makes
I
me
would have
super
asked someone
uncomfortable.
like him, hey.
Because I feel like
they're
people are half naked, and it makes me super uncomfortable.
I was like, hey, I want to see those too,
Yeah, that's why I avoid being one of the socializers, because I don't want people to say or ask me why I'm not showing nipples like you.
I mean, sorry. I mean,
no.
Guys, I
I'm
would
just
never do
kidding.
that with
I know,
a
I
woman.
know.
Don't get me wrong.
I know,
mean,
I
come
know.
on.
Yeah, you know that.
Okay, you got me. No, but I don't do that. But with Jeff, I would. With Jeff, I would for sure.
But yeah, it was cool to, them talking to people about
Yeah.
feeling zero gravity and stuff like that and being free swimming. And I
Exactly.
loved how, what we'll talk about next with the NASA stuff
Mm-hmm.
and him actually going to that place. I wrote down the name. It was the Sony Carter Training Facility.
Right,
So that was
exactly.
cool. I didn't expect in this episode to see him actually go and see astronauts training.
Yeah.
Like that was super cool
Right.
to see.
Yeah.
Right. No, let's talk about that first, and then after we're going to talk a little bit more about the history, which is also very interesting because you guys, again, started it in a way, like in 1868, but we're going to talk about that in a second. But that was so interesting to me. I've never seen such a big pool in my life before. And they have the whole International Space Station copy, let's say, in that pool to get people trained and to get them ready for space.
Yeah.
And then
So
we have,
cool.
and what I loved about that, because I feel like a lot of people still think, astronauts, they're all men. And boom, we see Kayla, and I wrote it down, Kayla and Loral getting ready. I'll say, I love that. Women, like, to the front, just go down and just make it happen.
Yeah.
And that was great to see, right? That we're very more diverse today, not just men do that, right?
That's true.
And the training was so interesting to see because what they have to do underwater is they have to balance them out at the beginning. Did you see that? So they can't just go down themselves and just make it work. They have to have people beside them to put weight on them, I think, if I saw that correctly.
Yeah,
right?
well, they were making it so
Yeah.
that it was zero gravity.
Exactly.
And not just,
That was so fascinating.
Yeah, that's
and,
crazy.
And this whole uniform looked so heavy to me.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
It's
I
so
mean, that
weird to see it underwater because you're used to seeing it like in a spacewalk.
I know.
Right.
It was this giant uniform. That was cool. But then when they said, oh, yeah, they're going to be underwater for 6 hours.
I was like, and he asked the right question, Jeff. Thank you. You asked the right question. What if you have to go to the bathroom? And they're all wearing diapers, right? That's what they said.
Or something.
Something. Or they just let it go. I mean,
yeah, maybe they weren't being too graphic, so maybe
Yeah.
it does go into the water and they just don't mind.
That seems so claustrophobic.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
but-
just lied and told
underwater
us
for
they
6
have a
hours.
diaper.
I mean, seriously, when I saw Kayla going into this kind of big uniform or the suit or what it is, I'm like, wow, I think I would even feel anxious because it's like, oh my God, I have problems with, like, if I don't have enough space around me, I get a problem with that, even in an elevator.
Claustrophobic,
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm a little bit like that. So I was imagining putting myself into this suit or uniform. I'm not sure if I can deal with that for 6
Yeah,
hours straight. I mean, how do you feel about that? Seriously.
I definitely couldn't. It reminds me of scuba diving.
Right.
And I got my license to do it, like my PADI license and
Oh,
everything.
nice.
But I just freaked out the last time I scuba dived, and that was like 6 years ago or something like that. And
Okay.
when I saw this, it reminded me of that experience because I just freak out if I'm, in an enclosed space because you have to get the license through doing it in the pool as
Yeah.
well. So I'm actually surprised Jeff didn't get into scuba diving and the testing for that
Right.
because it kind of reminded me of the NASA thing.
Okay.
And what they were doing. So it's
Right.
like you have to be down there for so long. You have the tanks, you have to breathe right. And if you don't, then and if you go up too fast, then your lungs will explode. So it's like all these things you gotta think about. And it's just...
Sounds fun.
It was scary. I love scuba diving, but it was
okay.
scary. And I was like, kind of when I was watching, him with the NASA people, I was like, oh my God, that kind
Wow.
of seems scary. It's like scuba
I
diving.
mean, lungs explode. I'm out. I mean,
Yeah, you have to
I
be
just
really
have to get something
careful.
like
Well,
that.
We know you're out. Heights are out for you. Too deep in the water is out
I mean,
for you.
seriously, guys, I think I'm just worried about my life.
You drink your little coffee. That was your favorite episode.
What life do I live, people? Damn it. Anyway, but that was very interesting. And then also Jeff was one of the few people, and I believe him, who could actually go in and just dive a little bit and just see very
Yeah.
closely what they
Yeah.
Because
do.
who's even heard of, I literally have never even heard of that. So when he was like, I'm one of the few civilians, I was like, I bet.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I have to say, I saw a documentary about the NASA. I saw a documentary about that, and I saw that pool before in a way,
yeah.
but not as that big.
Okay.
Maybe they showed a different. I'm pretty sure they have a different one, like a second one or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it that big. That was very surprising to me. But Jeff was doing his thing, and he was like swimming around a little bit, and I don't know what it is, but I want to talk about Jeff's behavior and how he is. That's so, what I really like about him, he's so personal that you just have to feel good about him and surrounded by him, It's
Yeah.
like he makes everyone feel like good about themselves. Don't you agree? That was
yeah, it's
interesting.
very personable.
No matter he's talking, and I really like that about him. So Jeff, keep that up. I just wanted to point that out because I specifically felt that in the pools episode that he was very personal. I think he also discovered that he likes pools even more than he thought. I think he's doing it a lot more.
Yeah, I think
because now I just want to talk about the history part very, very quickly. The Egyptians, not really a surprise, right? Because we watch movies, right? So they did kind of like, in a way, did something like that before. But then the Romans really invented that, the first thing. And then in 1868, I didn't know, but we had the first public bath rooms or whatever. So that means people together took a bath to clean themselves, because back in the days we didn't have private bathrooms at home.
Right.
I was like, wow, I've never heard about that before. I mean, did you know that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've heard of public baths before.
You're very happy about that, you know?
It just sounds just
I mean, it's like sauna a little bit. Let's think about that. It sounds like spa. No. It sounds like a spa a little bit.
Yeah, but they said that after time they heated it up. So in the beginning it was cold.
True.
And you're with all these people. I didn't know. I figured everyone had their own little bath back in 1866. I didn't know that they had to go into, I guess if you don't have the money to have a bathroom, then that makes sense. But yeah, in the beginning it wasn't heated, so that's a little bit uncomfortable.
So it's a bunch of dirty, funky, germy people.
Isn't that nice?
Without hot water, they're nasty, germy cesspool. I was just like,
I mean, but you have stuff.
Sounds so gross to me.
But you have stuff to talk about, right? When you,
I guess.
There's still stuff like that, though. I mean, people bathe in rivers and stuff. You see photos in India and other third world countries, and these people go into these baths.
Totally.
It's like freezing cold, and they all just gather and wash themselves. So it's still around.
Yeah, totally. That's a very good point. I think it just depends like what you're used to and how you got raised in a way, right? So it means like countries like that, for example, if people got raised that way, they just know how that is, and that's what they know. So
sure, but bring them to America and give them a bathtub, they would be like,
of course,
this is amazing.
No, it's true. It's true. Which now brings me to a very interesting topic that I also never heard of before. The company Just Float, first of all, in Pasadena, I think. Yeah, in Pasadena. Never heard about the company before, but I like the idea to get very relaxed. And they also describe it, I wrote that down, Tibetan monk. Or monk. Tibetan monk. Tibetan monk or whatever status or station that Jeff got into.
Yeah, he got into the Tibetan monk mind state.
By just laying down on the water for about 45 minutes and be totally gone and relaxed. And he's one of the few people, as this guy told him, who could do that. I'm not sure if he was saying the truth.
They have a bunch of those next to my old place in Toronto.
Really?
So I'm pretty sure it's called Just Float. I never did it. Bunch of my friends like to do it, but one of my friends was like, I have too much anxiety. Like, she went in for an hour and you're enclosed in this thing and you can't get out, and you're just floating there with your own thoughts.
What do you mean?
Basically, like, you're enclosed kind of in, it kind of like a capsule, like a tanning bed, essentially.
Oh.
And
you know,
you're
they
in
had
water.
the little thing on, like the close the little.
It didn't look like it looked like a room, like a big room with just a tiny little thing.
I guess she went to one that was a little bit smaller, but even if it's a bigger room, it's enclosed. I don't think you can walk out of it. Like, you have to be there for the full hour.
You see nothing for me already. I can't leave.
So my friend was like, it almost gave me more anxiety because I was in this space just floating there. And, you know, there's no music, there's no nothing, so.
But it looked like...
If you can meditate like he did, that's great.
Yeah.
And I totally believe, by the way.
Because it's sensory deprivation. There is no anything.
And I truly believe when I saw Jeff doing it, I think he just didn't do it for the camera. He was really gone.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, did it look like to you? Like, he was gone.
He was really he said he did go from a state of meditating to a state of sleep, though.
Oh.
I wouldn't be able to meditate
said he fell asleep.
I don't think.
Which is relaxing too in a way,
like,
right?
Yeah, I did meditate towards the beginning, and then I kind of went off to sleep. But yeah.
Would you guys try it?
Oh, I definitely would do that.
No.
I mean, if I have more space around me, you know.
Yeah, not the enclosed ones.
No, but you can do it even you can do it in a pool. You can do it in a normal big pool. You don't have to be like very enclosed in a small room or whatever.
Right.
You can do it anywhere.
I watched it with my daughter, and she was like, "Oh, this is like 11 on Stranger Things," and I was like, she sure does. They put her in that deprivation tank, and then that's how she goes to the other side.
Very good point.
And then later, like on another episode, they don't have the tank, so they just fill up a kiddie pool, and they put a bunch of salt in it so that she can float and she accesses to that.
Right.
So you can do it at home. You can do it in your backyard. You can make your own.
That's actually very good. That's very good. I mean, people at home, by the way, if you did that before, please let us know how you felt and what it did to you, or if you would try it even, right? We definitely want to hear your opinion on that too. And now, I just want to talk, we talked a lot about that stuff, but I wanted to mention something, a number that blew me away. I mean, it depends where you're coming from. In the US, it's not really a surprise, but I heard the number alone in the US, you guys have 10.6 million pools.
Wow.
I mean, come on. That's a number.
That is a lot
That's
of pools.
insane. I mean, it depends where you live, as I said. If you have hot weather, if you have like sunshine almost every day, like in the US, depending where you are. I get that. In Germany, you probably have maybe 50 pools, you know. But you know what I mean? But 10.6 million.
That's crazy. And I didn't realize that pools were per year a $5 billion industry across the world.
No idea.
Yep.
I mean, in everything that we talked about, I was basically shocked about the revenue, if you really think about that, right? The sneakers. Remember the very first episode we talked? I mean, come on, right? I'm not surprised about anything anymore since I watched the show, to be honest, right?
Yeah.
It's just crazy. And now the topic that I found so interesting and so cute, and it really got to me. I really liked seeing something like that, because I'm always talking to myself and say, hey, if I'm old at some point, I want to be an Aquadude.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be an Aquadude. Guys, if you don't know what an Aquadude is, we're going to talk about that now, because Jeff Goldblum became an Aquadude.
He did.
And
I think you have what it takes. You could be an Aquadude.
I can be an Aquadude.
For sure.
Easily.
Steph, can I be an Aquadude?
Silence.
Think that was a
She's
no.
like, no.
That's okay, Steph. No worries.
Anything you dream, you can achieve.
There you go.
If Aquadude is your thing, let it be.
It's my all-time ultimate dream.
Okay, start the petition. I'll sign. I'm here for it.
I love that.
You need some flowery trunks, though, because you have to coordinate with the ladies.
I do everything. Because I have freedom, you know, I have space, you know, and they're going to dance with me. But honestly, guys, I was really surprised. And I just don't say that because we saw them all day, whatever. But with all the respect, there were 80s plus.
Yes.
But they didn't look like that at all.
No.
I saw her face, right? And I was like, wow, she doesn't, because usually when you have a different like imagination when you think about someone who's maybe that age or something, right? But she, not a lot of wrinkles, for example. She looked very flat. Nothing really on her face. And she was definitely 80. She said that.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's so impressive to me that she's doing all that. They go underwater.
kicking their legs
up, and they have a
Yeah.
choreography. They even know what they're doing. And that's just amazing.
Yeah.
So if I could do that with 80, I'm up for it, you know?
Absolutely.
So what about you guys? I mean, how did you feel when you saw that?
I wonder if they were women who had like always been in great shape, or if
point.
the pool helped to keep them in shape. Like I was like very curious about that. But they did say, you know, we have bad backs and hips and ankles and all of these like ailments, but when we get in the water, everything is great. So they were all kicking their legs up, like you said. I was just like, these ladies are amazing.
Oh my God.
They were goals like on 100. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so please, Maddie.
I think when you're older, that's why an older crowd does water aerobics, and which essentially they're doing, obviously.
Yeah.
So that it helps with all your limbs, because you're not so tough on your body. You're just kind of floating there, but you're still working out.
That's right.
So I get it. They look amazing. I definitely am going to do water aerobics when I'm
for
older.
sure.
I need
I
to do
love
it
that.
now. Like my limbs are
I mean,
hurting.
Aquadettes, guys, if you're watching us right now, please keep doing that. We love it, right? So we're going to be there when you're 100, right? So
yeah, you
for
gotta
sure.
you gotta make an Instagram post when you are an Aquadude, because it's what
Right.
she said, once a year, and it's here, it's in Pasadena, so
That's
you
right.
can do it.
I should actually do that, film it, and just present it.
That'd be awesome.
I would do it with you.
I would do that, guys. Oh my God. So, okay, let me do one thing. If you do the bicycle community, I say that now live, I do the Aquadude.
That's a deal. You have to get a bike, Ben, because you got to come to my thing. I'm gonna come to your thing.
That's true. So you want to become an Aquadette too?
Yes.
That's okay.
I feel so left out. What am I
but
gonna
you're
do?
gonna. You become
I'll think of something.
No, you become an Aquadette too.
Yeah,
And we do
I would
our
do
own
it.
dance. We could become like the boy-girl band thing.
Yeah, I'm down.
Right, so we do all that. But anyway, so I just wanted to talk about that very quickly, the health aspect. They talk about that for a minute, and they say it can even reduce your blood pressure, like being in water and doing all that activity and stuff like that, which is fascinating to me. I would have never expected something like that.
I hadn't
right?
heard that before either.
So, and I believe, because you could tell that, I mean, for some of them 80 plus, some of them might be a little younger, but I don't believe that all of them were always in shape or whatever. I'm just assuming right now, but I definitely truly believe that it helped them, because coming back to zero gravity, that's what they also said, the older ladies. They said the same thing. We felt free, or we feel free. Anytime we do that, we just feel like we can do anything because we don't have our pain anymore in our legs or whatever. We can just be like 20 again almost. You know? And that's a great thing. I think not just for older people, everyone should do that. And even younger people do that, by the way. Right? It's not just older people do that. So there's no excuse not to do it, right?
That's true.
So so why jumping off a plane? No, what I would not do, right? Or all these kind of height things. I just do my Aquadude thing, you know, anyway. But coming now to the special segment, and I'm really excited about it because I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, okay. So
Let's do
instead
it.
of doing TV, I'm only doing a
think
few
you
because
do.
we're running out of time. But, you know, we did TV, what TV shows and what movies Jeff was in.
Yeah.
Now I'm just going to ask you what appearances Jeff has done recently. And I'll give you a clue. And it might be a TV show or a festival or something like that. Okay, number one. So there's an international festival that's held in San Diego. Has to do with
Comic-Con.
yes. Your face. That was kind of easy.
People,
Okay.
give me a chance.
K1.
Okay. This one, a hint is Melissa McCarthy was just on this. Airs on PBS. It's a show that's just getting renewed. It's kind of, they bring celebrities on, they ask them kind of personal questions, things that's happening
Bachelor.
in the past. Nope. Stories. It's like a story time with celebrities.
Inside the actor's studio? No.
That's kind of close.
It's variety actors on actors?
No, it starts with an F. I'll give you the first. I'll give you the first. I'll give you the first word. Finding.
Not finding your roots.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, they don't ask them just about themselves. They ask them about their families. And then they
Yeah, like
lap
their
family
background
history.
and yeah, the history and everything.
Yeah, I do tons of family history stuff.
Right.
I love Skip Gates, who's the guy who hosts that. I love that show.
Yeah, so
Finding
Jeff
Your
was
Roots.
just on
I
that.
didn't know he was on
so
Finding Your
we
Roots.
gotta tune into that because I haven't seen it either.
Oh, you gotta watch that. Have you ever mapped your
That's
family
me.
tree? Have you ever done your genealogy?
I did not.
He does that for celebrities, and he'll dig through,
Yeah, he
and
goes
he'll
through
find
everything.
stories that they like never knew about. It's awesome.
So maybe I'm not German?
Oh, you gotta get on the show.
No,
and
you're
see.
definitely you are definitely German.
Definitely not. You're not German.
Okay, anyway, but thank you so much. Wow,
Oh yeah, that's it.
I
She
really-
threw it up. That's Skip
Yeah,
Gates.
that's
Oh,
him.
awesome. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
he
Steph.
was just on that.
Steph is always on track. She's always ready to go.
Wow, that's a good one. I did not know
I know.
that, Maddie.
I
like
have
that
yet
show.
to watch it. I just read about it, so
I have to
I'm gonna
say-
be watching that later for sure.
I've never heard about that show.
It's great.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay, I definitely should watch that. Oh my God, how could I not know about that? He looks great, by the way. I love this. I, love
know,
everything. I love the
I
blazer and stuff. Wow, he
know.
looks cute.
The blazer with the turtleneck. Have you ever tried the blazer with the turtleneck?
I got one recently.
Okay.
I got one recently. I was like, that's
Go
kind of cool. I
Harlem.
like
I've
that
even
style.
tried that
I like that
before.
style. That's really cool. Thank you so much, Maddie. That was awesome. I should
Yeah.
definitely keep up with that. I should
Yep, you gotta
watch
watch
more
that
stuff. I
show.
know. I watched Finding Your Roots, right?
Yeah.
That's the title. Okay, definitely got it down. Thank you. All right, Kay, let's make it happen. Tell everybody what's going to happen very
This
soon.
is the perfect news,
Oh, yeah.
right? So today is our penultimate episode, which means it's the next to the last episode. And guess what the news is? Jeff has been renewed for season 2. So he's coming back for season 2.
I'm so happy.
So that is great news. So as you go on to watch the final episode next week, don't feel
Right.
bad because more Jeff is on the way.
So you're going to see these faces again, people.
More Jeff's in the can.
Oh, yeah. But so they didn't tell us, though, when it's going to come out.
No,
right?
we
So
don't know
gonna-
when it's going to come out.
Right. Okay.
They
But
probably still have to film it.
Yeah,
It
but
might be a little bit.
I feel like if they say it right now, we are in January of 2020. I have a feeling from a timing perspective, it should be this year.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe
Yeah,
end of the
maybe
year
the
or something.
summer.
Maybe end of the year.
Yeah, end
like
of year,
fall
summer,
or whatever,
fall.
right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I mean, it was a great show again. I really like talking about pools. right? Unexpectedly, it was like, it was great, right? Please, guys at home, let us know what you feel about just floating, about that experience. I really want to know about that.
Or if you've done just float.
Right, and everyone who wants to become an Aquadude with me and create a group, let me know. Right?
That's
Everybody.
Right. Get your matching trunks together.
Exactly. I would love that idea. Like, think about that.
Yeah.
We go to Pasadena or wherever it is, and just have our legs up and just even shave it for that day and go crazy,
That's so cute.
I live in Pasadena, so you have to come, and I have no excuse not to come either.
That is so
And you're going to
cute.
do it with us, for
yeah,
sure.
I will.
I wonder what the final episode is going to be. Any guesses
I was
on our
trying to
last
find.
episode?
I was even shocked. I thought it was already on there, but it is
No,
not. I was
that's a
I was surprised too. I have no idea. Maybe it is a surprise.
Yeah, guys,
Right.
let us know what you think it might be.
Let us know. Thank you so much for watching. But before we come to an end, Maddie, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Maddie Pocks. Thank you guys so much.
Okay.
Yes,
What about you?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at HostK.
Awesome. Thank you so much for watching again. You can find me also on Facebook and Instagram. It's at Benjamin Schnau. And by the way, I did We Are the Wave last week, the last episode of the last German show. But now, guys, I'm also going to start the new show, Charité at War, which is another German show, which is a very interesting show. Check it out. It's not about the war per se. It's more behind the curtain.
Ooh.
Sounds interesting.
Oh, yeah. Until then, see you next week to the last episode. But we also going to be back for a second season. Yay!
Thanks, guys.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.